thank you everyone who joined us in person in our offices, but also who joined us online. So this is Tech Talks organized by Rivers. Today we will have a presentation from Matej. As you can see, it will be about don't just write requirements, you can prototype them. As we know, AI is right now shaping the whole industry and changing it. And there is a lot of opportunity how to optimize the software development process and how to also get better results. And this is not only for software engineers, this is also for all the other roles which we have in a software development lifecycle. So Matej will present what he learned and what he tested as a product owner. And I think it will be very interesting. So thank you very much, and Matej, and let's start.
Okay, so yeah, hello everyone. My name is Matej Linichan. I'm a product owner at Riwers. And today the topic will be don't just write requirements, prototype them. Okay. Maybe some of you are thinking, what is new here? Because we have always done the prototype, but I can tell you this is something absolutely, totally different, right? We are living through an revolution in a product development. Now you are able to create clickable prototypes in a matter of minutes, actually, let's say faster than writing requirement documents. So during this presentation, I want to show you how the role of the PO is evolving, how the AI is shaping it, and how the role, in my opinion, will shift from, if I can call it, from the requirement writers to prototype builders. And why this shift is not just helpful, it is really essential for staying competitive in the market. So yeah, this might be a familiar thing for some people. So on the left side, you can see a traditional product owner role when he is really piled up, drowning in the documentation. There's a stack of documents, requirement documents, user stories, acceptance criteria, specification documents. And we spend our days writing, refining, updating these documents, and hoping that someone will interpret them the same way as we do, right? But here is the problem, and here is the catch. No matter how detailed the requirements are, every designer, every stakeholder, every developer will build a different, let's call it a mental picture of actually what is wanted. It's like playing expensive game of, let's call it telephone, that every handoff brings another layer to interpretation gap, and it can be just bigger and bigger because everyone can interpret it a little bit a different way. On the other side, on the right side, we can see a new reality. The product owner working with AI-powered tools, creating actual prototypes, testing workflows, validating ideas with the actual working software instead of a static requirements documents. So this is pretty huge thing. So it's not that just about efficiency at the end, it's about fundamentally changing how we communicate. So imagine, instead of asking people to imagine what we mean when writing these requirements, we can show them what we actually want in a matter of minutes. So yeah, why prototypes beat requirements? First of all, they eliminate the interpretation gaps. Meaning, let's say I would write a user story, user-friendly dashboard with the key metrics. What do you see, right? The designer might think, okay, might envision a clean minimalism. Maybe the developer is seeing the data tables, and then there is a stakeholder, he's just thinking about the visual colorful charts. We are all looking at the same words, but essentially, we are seeing completely different products. Prototypes eliminate this gap because everyone is literally looking at the same thing, which is really, really enabling us. Second thing is accelerating stakeholder alignment. Instead of spending days or weeks explaining the requirements, re-explaining the requirements to the stakeholders, imagine you can just build this prototype, bring it to the room, and then the conversation can start, and you can see it like it immediately. The alignment happens, and it happens in a minute instead of the weeks, and that brings a little bit how to call it, like a little bit different aura to the whole conversation. You can create instant feedback loops with the prototypes. So with traditional requirements, it takes time until something is developed, and then at the end you see what is the outcome. And only then you can figure out if this is what you actually wanted, what the stakeholder wanted, and then you can get the feedback. But what if it's something that you didn't want to build, that is not good, not correct? This becomes like a really, really expensive mistake. Once again, what prototypes gives us, so it gives us feedback before even like single line of code is written, which is pretty cool, right? Fourth key thing is you fail fast, but learn faster. Imagine you have an idea about the product and you want to test an assumption. Currently, it takes quite a lot of time until you build that product and you give it to the users, test your assumptions, and then you get the feedback. But it already costed you some money. Like this, you can really, once again, say, build it in a minute, hours the prototype, and test assumptions immediately. And if you are seeing any issues with it, you can start changing them, refining them, iterate, and so on before the actual development to avoid these costly mistakes. But what I personally see, and what I also found out when I shifted also towards this on my projects, so you are somehow transforming the passive reviewers into active participants. Okay, imagine that when I would share your requirements document here, right? Everyone is looking at the lines of text, and then it's very hard to get the people to engage with it, right? People might nod that or like passively agree, and that's it. But if I actually bring your actual prototype that you guys can click, interact, try out, trust me, the engagement is on totally different level. Everyone will want to try, everyone will want to explore, everyone will start to question it. And I think this is where the breakthrough, especially for us as the product owners, really happen. So yeah, let's have a look at the concrete example of what I mean. So here's an example user story. Event application form. As a participant, I want to fill out an online application form for an event so that I can register quickly and provide all necessary details. Acceptance criteria: the form must collect personal details, event preferences, and payment method. Users should be able to upload required documents. Confirmation should be sent after the submission. So it might seem clear enough, but let's say you put 3 different roles in the room, and trust me, the interpretation will be different. Maybe someone is envisioning a minimal form with just really the essential fields, the required fields. Someone else might envision like a step wizard, dividing in more manageable chunks. Someone else might envision like a long form with even like more details about the participant. All of these are pretty much like satisfying our written requirements, but they create totally different user experience. And this is what is it about. Let's say the long form, it might overwhelm the users because there is just too much data to input. Step wizard might feel tedious. Minimal form might not capture enough data that you want to have. So which one is right? Which one is the correct? We won't know until we will test them, right? So then, moving to the next slide, Here is the same thing, same story, but now we see the clear vision, okay? If we look at the difference, instead of like three people imagining different flow, different thing, we are looking at the same stuff, all of us, right? So we are seeing step-by-step wizard interface. They can see the progress, form fields, they can see the navigation flow. These people, they can click through it, they can try out the user experience, validate it. Okay, so it gives a little bit different dynamic to that. And even like the conversation now changes. Instead of abstract discussion about let's say user friendliness or intuitive design, we are really having a concrete, specific discussion. Okay, should we include the percentage on the progress bar? Isn't the form, doesn't it have like, let's say too many fields? Should we allow going from step number 2 to step number 1? So it gives us much better like actual feedback about that. So this is the power of the prototyping over requirements. So we moved from asking people to imagine our vision to showing them our vision. So yeah, but this is just, I think I can say now that this is just the beginning, right? You see how fast the market goes, so this is all evolving. But let's have a look on the tools that I personally think, and we as a team here at the Riwers think that are now the best on the market when it comes to, let's call it vibe coding or prompt to UI generation. So we picked the 4 tools here. It's Figma Make, it's Lovable, it's v0.app, and it's Diet. Even though they focus pretty much on the same stuff, they are different, but yet they share some really cool capabilities, all of them that they have. For example, they have a real-time editing. So what you can do now, I'm not sure when it was introduced, but let's say a few months ago it was not possible. But now that you create the prototype, you create a screen, you can really click on one specific element, and by prompting, you can change it. Okay, let's say you want this button bigger, or you want a different color. You can really prompt that one specific element and shape the UI, and watch it like really transform instantly. We have a deep backend integrations. So we have these Supabase, like a PostgreSQL database that you can connect very quickly to all of these tools. You can integrate payment systems such as Stripe. You can like put there the edge functions, email functionalities, authentication. So all of this is now possible in all of these tools. Also not possible, I think, in a couple of weeks ago. So we are going to like a real application that you can just show, right? That how the users can log in, what emails they will get, they can pay for something. So yeah, it's evolving. And then it's responsive design. So no more separate mobile wireframes or responsive design specification. It is all covered by these tools. Okay, so let's have a quick look and deep dive in the tools. And what are their, let's say, special capabilities, right? So the first one is Lovable. And from my point of view as a product owner, this is a tool I would choose when it comes to user experience and the output you are getting from the prompting and how does the UI at the end look like. And it was really built for that purpose. So it was built for efficient and quick validations of the MVP. So this was the main purpose why they built it. But they are super big now. They are like unicorn companies, so they are really growing. As I said, they offer this Supabase integration, and it's very easy in this tool. Like it will guide you very easily how to do it, and you just click. It will do all the stuff for you. You just have to confirm it. Maybe in other tools it will require some more, let's call it technical knowledge or something, but anyone can actually do this, and that's pretty cool. Also the documentation. So I think when you will be also trying, you will like the whole user experience of this application. They have advanced agent mode. So imagine like it's a feature for like smarter building of that. It can break up the work into more smaller tasks, more manageable tasks. And when you are reading articles about this, they are saying that this means less errors in like the whole thing. What is also pretty cool about this, they have this interactive chat mode. It might seem like a small thing, but you can, instead of talking to the agent, you can turn it off and trigger this chat mode. And what it means that you can ask questions and the AI is not building anything at that time. Because for example, Figma Make, if you put there a question, you want to ask something, it won't like answer to you. It thinks you want to build something, and you can break it down, to be honest. But here you can just click, okay, chat mode. You can ask the question, validate your ideas, then you can turn it back, and you can build stuff. Okay, so it might seem like a small thing, but trust me, in Figma Make, I was like, okay, what is happening here? Then I realized, okay, I'm doing something wrong because it was always trying to build something, and I was asking it questions. So that's the thing. And this tool now provides Figma to code conversions. So there is a plugin. It's plugged in through another application called Builder.io, which I was also thinking to put here, but it will be just a similar tool. But there's just a plugin. You can connect it to Figma and bring your Figma designs to here, and it will convert it to functional code. So that's what you can do. Another tool is v0.app. I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago it was v0.dev. They also said they changed their focus. Now they're also, let's say the focus is also the same as the Lovable, or so the building of this faster prototyping and so on. Before it was more for like the developers. What I found out, they have over 3 million users, and I'm not sure if this fact is true, but it was in the article. They are generating 6.5 applications per second, which to me seems, I don't know, hard to trust, but it was written, so that's pretty cool. They also introduce now the agentic approach that breaks the task into sub-tasks, iterate, debug, and reason for you. But even it extends beyond that. It can search the web, it can read the files, and it can even expect the site for you and make analysis. So all of this is now possible with the latest update there. Another cool thing about this, they have a close collaboration with the Next.js, and the owner of the company said that the cooperation is so close that they can actually shape the framework, and they can tell them that, okay, maybe this is not working correctly when vibe coding and talking to the LLM and so on. So you see now this is also shifting a little bit more, that these vibe coding tools, some frameworks might be shaped because of that to support it. So this could be also one of the things in the future. And they also offer Figma to code conversion. Pretty much you can, in the pro version, you just connect your Figma, select the frame, and you put it there, and it also converts to the code. Then there is a Figma Make. Just came out of beta. It was in beta for some time. Now it's out, so like a real product for them. What is different is that the library support. So you can import the existing design system and style libraries. So when generating the UI, it knows the context. It uses your typography, the components, and so it's according to your brand guidelines, right? You can start from existing designs, but here is important. You need to first create it in Figma design, and then you can take this frame to Figma Make and shape it by prompting. It is not possible to take anything done in Figma Make and pull it to Figma design. This is not currently possible. I'm not sure if it will be possible, but other way around, it is possible to do it. So that's also, I think it's something that's pretty cool. And that goes to my next point. Some people might like that it's like a native Figma workflow. If they are used to work in Figma and this whole environment, so we just connect it and add it together, they have another tool there, and they don't have to do any context switching and so on. And this one thing might be valid now, might be not later, but is a tip for me. If you want to start with this prototyping, try it out. I would suggest now Figma Make, because they are still having unlimited prompts to create prototypes. They already informed they are also going to this credit system, but all the other tools you need to buy credits, okay? And then maybe you create few prototypes and you need to pay more. With Figma, you pay it once currently, and you can explore, make as many prototypes as you want. So this is now pretty cool if you want to try it out. Last tool, Diet. This was discovered by Adam, I think, a week ago. So we explored it. What is different is here, this is open source and it runs locally, right? This tool, so it gives you full control, and you can choose your AI models. You can choose the LLM that you are using and see how different the UI looks like, how different is the code. And another game changer here is that you can import your own application. This is, I think, the feature they are currently testing. It is like a beta feature, but this is completely different to the other tools. There you can't do it. So this might be something super nice to open like your products and keep building it with the AI. So yeah, now we explored 4 tools. All of them have similar foundations, but like, let's say in the core they are a little bit different, but they are using the same LLM that I explored. They are generating UI with the Cloud Sonnet. So Figma Make and a Lovable is like Cloud Sonnet 3.7, and then V0 is Cloud Sonnet 4. So these are the best LLMs now to generate the UI. But the magic happens like beyond below the hood, how they are like based on different training data, specialized post-processing systems, unique prompt engineering approaches, and so on. And to show you how different they can be, even though they use pretty much the same model, I have created a couple of screen, let's call it couple of prototypes. So this was the prompt. You can quickly read it if you can see it. So yeah, I want to build build a modern and personal website for me, but instead of a product owner, I'm here a professional Dota 2 player as a big esports fan. So give it a sleek gaming aesthetic with dark mode, neon accents, and dynamic visuals. Showcase tournament achievements, highlight reels and upcoming events with an intuitive navigation flow. Keep it fast, impactful, and designed to impress both fans and sponsors. On the next screens, I will show you what was generated. This was generated on the first try. I didn't change anything. Maybe some of them doesn't look that good, but I just went with it so you see what can be done. And you can, I think in the Slido, you can put your answers. What do you think? Which of these were generated in which tool, right? So every time there'll be like 2 screens, and then you can say, okay, this one, let's say these screens are generated in these tools, if you want to say so.
Exactly. So I just want to add, right now you can open your Slido and you should have an option to join the interaction. It will be a poll where you can then choose your answer, like which tool you think the current page was built with. So it's like a fun little experiment. So don't be shy.
Okay, so the first one I will be showing every time 2 screens. So this is this and this. This will be the first, and you can put your guess which tool it was.
We put everywhere the same question, so it's just by the order.
Okay, so yeah, I think this one looks pretty good. Moving to the next one.
Wait,
Yeah.
I have to. Sorry, I have to run the first question. Sorry, now you can answer.
Okay, so going back quickly. So this is how it looks.
Looks pretty gamey.
Okay, second one. Yeah, maybe not the best.
Okay, wait. We need to reveal the answer.
Okay.
First one. So, who wants to vote? Join the quiz. Please do it right now. And try to guess what was it built with. And the first one was built with Lovable.
Yeah, so pretty good result. As I said, I like the tool. Okay, next one. Yeah.
Next.
On the first side, a little bit different. So this will be the first screen. This is the second one. So yeah, you can pose your answers. Which tool do you think it is? Lovable was the first. So now we have V0, Figma Make, and Diet as possible options.
All right. Should we reveal it, or does anyone want to vote? We have 5 seconds. And let's reveal the answer. It was with V0 and nobody chose V0.
Yeah, it was. I would also not choose it to be honest, because I feel V0 is also pretty cool. But yeah, I guess they don't like gamers that much. They don't want to support them.
Okay, let's
Not
go
sure.
to the next one.
So this is the next one.
We still have 4 options: Lovable, Diet, V0, and Figma Make.
Yeah, maybe some of them are done in the same tool. You never know. So yeah, these 2 screens you can quickly vote.
Okay, we still have only one vote. Come on. You have to choose. All right, so this one was done with Figma Make.
Yeah, a bit better. Yeah. Last one.
Last question.
For me, another contender for like the best ones. It looks nothing super fancy, but looks clean. So yeah, which one do you think it is?
All right, so it was built with Diet. And then by the leaderboard, Marco won with 3 out of 4 guessing correctly. So
Marco won.
what? Or which Marco? Maybe some other Marco joined. You? You put Marco there? Okay.
If you didn't say anything, we'll trust you.
The good job, my son. Okay.
But if you lost, you wouldn't say, "Are you really or not?" So
This was little fun interaction. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's go back. So yeah, almost getting to the end. So let's look at the bigger picture, right? It is not just about this rapid prototyping and so on, right? I really think that product owner role is shifting. I have been in Riwers over 2 years, and I can see how I shifted, how I started to work, how more effective I started to be with use of these AI tools. And I found, like, let's say, the best set of it, and I'm sure there'll be more and more. For example, also this presentation was done with the AI application for making presentations. So basically, I spent half of my time generating the images for it, using different models, but I liked it. So, but yeah, so I think what we can do now, we can write faster requirements, right? We no longer start with the blank documents. The AI can draft really comprehensive user stories, acceptance criteria, and then we are just there to refine them, right? So our role has shifted from writing the requirements to refining and validating AI generated drafts. Okay. But yeah, this doesn't make us, let's say, less valuable. I think that makes us like more strategic to focusing time on more valuable stuff. As showcased here, we can do rapid prototyping, but also this is now going to evolve and change. What I already seen by some tools, they already offer that soon they'll be having this Atlassian MCP, which could be pretty good for the product owners. Imagine that you'll write your Jira tickets, and then the AI will be able to take the context and start designing based on that. You don't have to provide the context. But what can happen then, right, is that it might be the game changer in terms that we might think we will need to write the user stories in a different way, so the AI can understand it and make the prototypes, make the screens based on that. Then voice first productivity. This is personal thing that I found out. I started a few weeks ago with that. I'm using like an AI dictate tool. I'm using Whisperflow, but I'm not writing anymore. When I'm at home, I'm basically dictating everything to the AI. It can rewrite it, and then I just press enter, and I can work with that. And yeah, so you can speak, I think like 150 words per minute instead of like writing 40 words per minute. So it's much more faster. And when I checked my statistics, I really said over 30,000 words over the last 8 weeks. It means like I wrote like 2 or 3 essays. And trust me, this is like so much faster when you want to write, I don't know, user stories. You want to write the meeting notes. You want to write these prompts for the AI. So these are also pretty cool things. Collaboration multiplied. So as I mentioned, like this AI can bridge the gap between stakeholders, designers, developers, because let's say with this prototype, we can essentially very quickly look at the same stuff and iterate. And automated documentation, I guess some of you are using that. Let's say you have a meeting, you want the meeting notes quickly rewritten, or some other things that you need to put in a Confluence. So less time doing these administrative tasks, but then you have more time to focus on the strategy on the validation of the product that you are actually building. Okay, so moving to the last slide. So what is the road ahead, right? Because we have a prototypes, and does it stop there, or can we take it like even further, right? Because yeah, they can really span the spectrum. They can be really just a clickable demos, or they can be really functional prototypes with a really solid code base that can be used for like a production ready app, maintained and so on. But yet the integration gap here still exists in the challenge. But yeah, I think a lot of people are already working on this, but we here as a Riwers, as this AI team are trying to, how to call it, like bridge this gap to get there from like actual prototypes to real applications. And there are more and more tools emerging that can help us with that. For example, the dia that I mentioned, it can import your own application, and then you can start prompting, and then continuously work on that in the project. So it can also enhance the developer workflow. So yeah, so this is what we are trying to target. And I think this is where the future will go, which means even more for the product owner, how we can shape the product from a different perspective. But I think I will also ask Adam to maybe share more experience with this, as he's also looking at this project, but from a like more technical point of view.
Thank you, Matej. So first of all, thank you for a great presentation. Yes. So as you saw, like obviously these were just like a very few examples of like the same prompt, different pages. But we are already trying to apply this for the existing and future customers to actually then show them how their vision can really look like. And we really believe that this speeds up the whole development process. It saves customers a lot of money. And it's like a natural step, I think, in the whole software development. Of course, we are not like this is very nice, and especially for the customer, that he can then see, okay, so this is what I will get. But we are then getting to the question of like, okay, so since it's generating something, right? And we see the prototype, and I like it as a customer, like how much of it can be used and reused. And we've been taking a look, obviously, at the code which, for example, Figma Make generates, but also other ones. And we've been trying to evaluate what if what it generates can be actually in at least some way used, and if we can, let's say, transform it in a way, let's say refine the code, or it's really not or it's really unusable. So we tried multiple approaches, and specifically the most amount of time we spent on the Figma make, because as Matej said, it looked the most promising. It was very cheap for like $20, and you have unlimited amount of requests. You can really fine tune that prototype. The problem with that is that Figma is obviously not focused on the fact that, hey, now you will take this prototype and you will do anything with it further. And this is what we found out very quickly. So they don't even include, so everything is built with React, and then the library which you choose, most commonly ShadCN, right? At least I think that one was by default in beta when you start a new project there. And the it's just pure React code. It's really messy. The pages are obviously like thousands of lines of code long, and there is a lot of repetition, and so it would be very hard. And then the effort is obviously questionable, like how we get good code out of it, right? We tried. We tried a few times, and we tried to also apply obviously AI-driven software development on this process, so we don't have to do it manually. But the results were semi interesting. So it was like the right direction, and we were thinking like, okay, so if this really improves, maybe some parts will be usable out of it, or can we use it as like, okay, so this here in this folder you can find the prototype, but now based on that build those new pages. We tried different approaches, and there are still some which we haven't explored completely. But then obviously we started to think, okay, can we find a way how? So first of all, we will be then disconnecting the app which you are creating from the source code, right? So once the prototype is finished, then we download it and we transform it into the real code base, which is very nice. But then whatever Matej would change, then you would have to, I don't know, like download a specific page, maybe then translate it again. Or if there would be any change of specific, like it gets complicated. But then the next question which came to my mind was like is there like an open source alternative? Because if you really think about it, this is not something like groundbreaking to create app like Figma Make or Lovable or V0, like apart from the fact that you have to host it to millions of people at the same time. But it's just a browser with the exact coding agents which we already know as developers, right? So either the Copilot, Claude Code, or Cursor, like it's almost the same. You just don't have this browser interface where you can click on the specific element so it knows like what you specifically mean. And that was the Diet project. Some guy just took it upon himself to to build this kind of a tool, obviously. And this is the fun part, right? Like when you think of something, then already like hundreds of people thought about it before you. So there is probably a solution for that. And this was the case. The cool part about Diet was that DYAD is that you can, first of all, you can choose whatever model you want. Obviously, we'll pay for it because you have to put your own API key there. So it's not like $20 for Figma Meg and you are going like crazy. But you are not stuck with the provider, right? Figma Make doesn't even provide you the whole code base. So if you download the code from there, you don't have package JSON, other dependencies. It's been pending in their issues for like over 2 months, and they didn't implement it. But here you can actually choose what you want to build it with. Do you want Angular? You can choose Angular template. Do you want Next.js? You can use Next.js template. And the community is right now building more of these templates, which which essentially predefine the tech stack, which the AI will use to build these front end components. And when we used Diet with different AI to like large language models, that's when things started to be interesting. So we tested GPT-5, which was horrible. So I was so hopeful, right? Because it just came out, and I know that they had these like auto router issues and so on and so on. But I'm so sorry. It was not very like the results were not there. The UI was all over the place, broken, and also you tested it, right?
Yeah, there was like 2 times the navigation on top, and it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the fun part of the exploration. But uh, we know that all these tools are using Sonnet 3.7 because it's much cheaper than 4, but it's already quite good for the front end generation of the components. So we obviously hooked up Sonnet 4, and then the results were quite interesting. So we were able to reproduce the same app, which we'd already did with Figma Make, the same prompts, but the code was much more usable. So it was already Next.js, it was separated into nice components, into pages. So it had the right structure, which you would expect. And all of this already reduces the effort to translate this front-end prototype into a real front-end code. And obviously it has more data and this kind of stuff. But the more interesting part with Diet is that you can actually, there is a AI rules of file, MD file, which where you can define how the app should be like built. And here you can really specify like how it should approach it, or what kind of preferences you have, just like with the Claude MD file or Cursor MD file, Cursor rules, and all this stuff. And you already have more control over what gets out. Also, you can just use your regular IDE or CLI tool like Claude Code and just go and use it on the same code base because you have it locally, which is completely different. And yes, they have right now the importing of the app, but as Matej mentioned, you there are problems with it that it doesn't map the components correctly. I think that there needs to be some map created between them, and I think that once they fix this, or maybe it's just like a path to components or something. I didn't play with it long enough. As Maciej said, we discovered it last week. Um, Once you can import real projects which you've been working on until now, like that will be the cool part, because then uh, simple things really you don't need to delegate to developers, right? Like change this color and add here some kind of colorful button or whatever. Like they can review the final result, obviously, and they should, but already product owner can do simple stuff with it, or prototype the page, and then you can take this branch and continue from it as a developer, so you can see what the product owner already wanted, and then we're like, okay, so like let's clean it up, let's do this. So the future with this is, I think, very interesting, and there is a huge distinction in my eyes between vibe coding and this kind of prototyping, and especially if you are trying to get a good code base, because none of us wants to then spend another 3 weeks cleaning it up, right? So it will only make sense once you get quite a good code, which we believe with Diet you can already achieve into a level where it starts to make sense. And we will be testing this approach also in the future projects. So we can then share the results, obviously, in the next Tech Talks. But I would like to also then have enough space for questions from you guys. Come on. Are you kidding me? Okay. How do I how do I get out of this freaking
Should I still no?
page?
Should I stop sharing?
Exit full screen. No. I will actually need your sharing as well, because space time go. Okay, so here we have the questions first. So we have only two questions. What do you hate about AI, Matej? That's a great question.
It's also a difficult question. I don't think I hate anything. Like, I think someone is, I would say, pissed when they are, sorry for the word, but when they are getting like a better results. But I think this is like a cool part, you know, you get like better results, but then okay, it forces you to try it in a different angle.
Mhm.
And then at the end you are getting to the point you are learning and so on. So I think I don't think I have hate anything about the AI because it to me it really saves so much time. I can be, let's say, 50-60% more efficient. So
Mhm.
why would I hate it because I'm using so many AI tools? So
And
not
also
really a hater.
to you, it gives more possibilities as a product
Yeah.
owner, right? Because like if it really removes the friction, then that's very different. Okay, so what is your experience with Atlassian MCP?
But that's the thing. I think it was asked by Dmitry. It is not yet. It is not yet done.
Okay,
It's only coming.
with the V0 or with which one?
It was in a builder. They announced it, but
Builder.
I'm sure
Okay.
all of these tools are thinking going the same direction. This Builder IO, Figma Make, and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
When something is introduced in one of the tools, 2 weeks after is introduced in the other tool. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But I can tell you personally, for software development, I used Atlassian MCP. And if you set it up for your local Cloud Code, for example, then you can literally say like, hey, like I have this task, you will put the task number. And if you have, let's say, sub agents and the whole agentic flow for implementation, then you can literally say like, hey, I have this task, like get it out of Jira and implement or ask questions first. And it will connect, it will get the task correctly, and you can really use it. Even updating those tasks, so you can connect it to Cloud Desktop, and for example, you don't have to open Jira, you can just open a chat in Cloud Desktop, and you will be like, okay, tell me what are the new tasks this week, and it will pull them up and it will tell you, and you can ask about them, and you can be like, okay, so let's discuss this task. You will discuss it within the chat, and then you can tell him, okay, then update the description of the task, and it will actually update the description of the task in Jira. So I really recommend it. It's so much fun, and it's so interesting to use it this way, because you don't have to then rely on Jira implementing these features correctly. But Dimitri, you had some question?
Yeah, I was like just thinking, okay, you have already you have already a backlog of features that have been already implemented, and you have this backlog in Jira, and what you want is to further maintain and develop this by using the same technique, meaning you create by whatever tools you create further stories, and then you add to the code base like this kind of chain. Do you think it would be possible to have it also?
Like to further develop, you mean?
To further develop.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Like for example, in Swing project, I just connected it to the Jira and it pulled the task, and then it started to scaffold the implementation. It's pretty interesting. We have another question. Do you explore any other tools in chain to also generate backend? Okay,
that's more
that's
to you.
probably to me. Uh, so we've been not focusing on the backend part yet. Uh, because sorry. Honestly, I tried to. I generated backend a lot of times, and it's much easier in my opinion than front end, because like front end is positioning of the elements, overlapping the behavior on different screens, reusable components, right? But on the backend, it's logic, and with logic, the AI is much better. So if you are very good, let's say in Nest.js, then I am sure that you can, apart from, let's say, very complex queries and so on, generate, or like a very complex logic which requires a lot of math, or some difficult problem, you or integration, you can generate most basic stuff without any problem, like from controller service to models. and it even tests it out by itself. So, for example, for me, I used it to generate the backend, and I was like, okay, as a part of the process, also test it out. It created a few test cases, and it went and literally made a request to the API endpoints and tested like all the cases, and then when it found like, hey, here is a mistake, then it fixed it by itself. Like really, I think for the backend part is not such a big challenge. Of course, it always depends on the size of the code base and the complexity. So if your code base is shit, then of course you will get the same out of AI. Uh, so I really think that if you have a clean code base and you follow all the nice like solid principles and clean code, then and nice separations, for example, in SJS into modules, and it makes sense, you are following the best practices, then you can use it for the backend.
If we talk about, let's say, redundancy or horizontal scalability things, like for complex applications,
Yes.
it would also.
So I always look at it like that's a good question. I always look at it like you are the brain behind it, right? You have to think it through, and then you translate what you want to the AI. I don't, in a lot of cases I don't let AI just run wild. Like and I think that this is what we are also exploring, is that the task is not just PO's description now. The task is where we also in refinement we stop and we think, okay, so how would we implement it, and blah blah blah. And we discuss it, we write it down, and then we're like, oh, I would also think about this corner case and also this corner case, and we need to update this, and you have it in your head, right? And then with this, when you give it to the AI and then check the results and make sure that you are getting good quality, it gets it done. And like our team reduced writing of the code itself like significantly, way over 50%. So there is huge optimizations which you can do. You are still the brain behind it, and you need to figure out the problem. You can figure it out, of course, in with the AI, but
So you just kind of reduce the effort.
no. So we reduced the. This is a huge difference. So we reduced how much of the code we actually write, way more than half. But you need to think about like, okay, so there is iterations, there is checking the results, there is the thinking phase, but it still speeds up the development significantly, right? And I think that in the future, the better the models will be, the better results we will get. All right. What is the benefit to use AI and not existing templates according to the client needs? Like, here's the link. Yes, of course, there are templates even with Material UI, for example, right? So which you can use. If you go to Material UI templates, you can find out like pre-made for ERP systems, or like, hey, this is a login page and this is this. I think that's a very valid point, and I think that this makes sense also in somehow like in combination with these tools, right? So it's not like exclusive, like, hey, don't use those templates, or and only use let's say Diet or whatever you want. But for example, I think you always had this designer role, right? So when he made design in Figma, and if you can then connect via MCP or via Figma Make, easily get the design there and transform it into clickable prototype, it's again next level. With if you have, let's say, if you find what fits very close to your customer's needs with an existing template, import it into Diet and then iterate with it and fine tune it, you again, it's great, right? These templates also contain a lot of unnecessary files, a lot of unnecessary code which you then have to clean up. So that's a disadvantage. And also, if you want to make your page look unique, which you want probably for a customer, then you really then have to again customize the template which you used. Whereas, for example, if you use ShedCN and you use ShedCN MCP, and in combination with this ShedCN Teams repository, you can choose like more unique view than just what is the default for the specific front-end or front-end component library. I hope I answered the question well enough. And I think that I sent you actually a link on Slack. If you can open it, I would like to actually share it with others. So,
make it full screen.
yes, can you make it full screen? Or with this? Okay, so this is the example, and I like take this as an inspiration. What you can do is right now on the market. So we know that with these tools, we can build stuff much faster, right? How we could not ever before. Applications which would take you really a year, you can now do in a month. And I would like to share like my personal experience, which is that a lot of us as developers, when we have a great idea and we think like, this will save the humanity, or this group will, when I build this, they will for sure buy it. Then and then you build it and find out like nobody cares. Then that's a real pain. And then you spend like another half a year like figuring out like what's the problem. Maybe if I add this cool feature, they will buy it, and then it's just another project like in your drawer. Instead, I really encourage you to try to use these tools, get that idea into the prototype. Don't care about the code. Care about the clickable prototype. Take the clickable prototype. Reach out to your potential customer and say, hey, I have this. Look how it works. You can make it really interactive. So, for example, in here, you can go through different sections. You can go to settings. You can change different kind of posting schedule. This is a tool which I envisioned when I was creating content on LinkedIn. Like, hey, it would be cool to have like a content management calendar, to have notes which I will just write down, and then I will use AI to generate me a draft of the post, to have all my previous posts scraped from the LinkedIn so I can easily just click a button and reuse them. So I can see analytics which I cannot see in the LinkedIn. Like, hey, like this would be so cool if everyone has it. And competitors have similar tools, but they are also very much more expensive. So I wanted to create this kind of a tool for like $10, right, a month, and you can more efficiently create content. So I created essentially this version, right? So create a light. So you have this calendar and you can do stuff like generate the post and blah, 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 see your posts and statistics and write notes. And and instead of like wasting a lot of time, I just like created the first version quickly with AI. Back then I didn't know about this kind of I knew about some of these tools, but I really didn't explore them. And I came to the potential customer. I was like, okay, so I have this. Like, what do you think? Would you be interested in this? And the response was like, yeah, it's nice, but it doesn't earn me any money, right? Or save me any money. So I was like, okay, so let's sit down and discuss like what does save you money? What really makes you money? And then we went into in-depth discussions how their business works, where they are wasting time, and suddenly we had a good opening. So okay, so if you are wasting time here and here and here because you are doing manually, what if we build it into the system? Because they like we can create and schedule posts, but we also want to manage leads, right? So Then I started to prototype with the Figma Make more and more, and I created the whole flow for them of how this can work. So what project manager can see, overview, like for example, how their ambassadors are doing, if they are fulfilling the number of connections they need to send every month, if they are reaching enough leads or impressions of their posts. So this is a project overview, team overview, where they can see like every single team member, how many projects they are working on, and you can say, like, oh, okay, Sarah is doing amazing. Maybe I need to call, I need to have a talk with Alex, right? Then they have consultants which create not only write posts but create messages to approaching customers. So I created all of this with just like then they have community managers which are doing those connections and reaching out to leads. And okay, so I need to make 25 connections per day. Like you go here, you just click connect, and it will just you will get it done through here. You know which people you need to connect with. It will get you directly to the LinkedIn. You just click connect, close it, and you will clean this dashboard. You know that you are done for the day. Then you need to track the leads. So you will go here. You will see in which state they are. And so, okay, so I will copy the message which we have prepared for them, and I will put it like to the next stage, like, okay, so we are connected. So I'm like, thank you that you connected with me, and let's this, like this, he just clicks the button, clicks here, opens the LinkedIn, pastes the text and enter and done. Like I cut all their manual work which they were doing with Excel and other drive tools, like to way less than 50%. And suddenly that's the money that they can then pay for my application, right? Because suddenly it saves them money, and it gives also their customer opportunity to see analytics. So their customer is much closer to them. He can see how his posts are doing, if it's worth to pay for their services, and they can see a dashboard where every day they can come and check if there is a lead ready for them to already write them like, hey, let's have a meeting, because only when they are in this state they will get here. We essentially went through all of their ideas, also like how you score leads, right? So do you care about company size of the potential lead? Do you care about the position? And this is how it will score your lead. And you can say, okay, so if it's location is Netherlands and I care about location and Netherlands is not here, then the lead is much less interesting for me. And we essentially had like few sessions. I made everything in Figma Make. Everything is done in Figma Make. And now we have a valid base for now potential solution, and I can start implementing it only once I have a first customer. And this is what a lot of developers don't do, and I really encourage everyone to do it, because you first need a customer, then start investing your time into building. And for these kind of tools which Maciej today presented are amazing. So I would leave you with that because we ran out of time. But thank you everyone who joined in person, online, and thank you Maciej for a great presentation.
Welcome.
So this was a tech talk organized by Riwers, and the video will be also on YouTube if you want to watch it later. Again, thank you everyone, and have a nice day.